Hey everyone, make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and like and share our videos if you like them. As always, enjoy. I'm JR, and this is the Geek Gods with my homeboy Justin,
What's up?
and we are going to be talking a little Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn today. We're going to be covering the new X Pack and the basic features of what we're expecting, what's been released pretty much so far to the public. I'm sure there's going to be much more to come eventually, but pretty much this is what we know so far and what our expectations are as players of the game and what we'd like to see. First and foremost, uh, we've been playing Final Fantasy XIV since 1.0, since release. I'm pretty sure. I don't know about you, but with lulls here and there, we come back to Realm Reborn a few months ago, and I've been enjoying it. Like I said, it's not really a groundbreaking game or it's reinventing the wheel or anything like that, but it's enjoyable. Especially um, the content like raids and stuff like that, and the dungeons. Much more to do now than there was back when Realm Reborn first launched, and I took that hiatus. Anyways, without further ado, let's get it going here. Uh, First selling point of the X Pack are the three new jobs. Not classes, they're not going to branch off from anything, they're going to be straight classes, and if I'm not mistaken, they're going to start you off at level 30 now, which is awesome. You're not
That
going to
I
have
didn't
to.
hear actually.
Yeah, that's a nice little perk from what I've been gathering, which is sweet because let's just say leveling is not one of my favorite things to do, and this is pretty
Definitely
much
not.
cutting. They're cutting the work in half essentially.
How are they
So,
swinging that? Because I didn't actually see that.
well, from what I gather, it's going to be. Think of it like this: the hero class in WoW, like Death Knight, pretty much.
That's why
And
these don't have pre-classes.
yeah, so I'm pretty much akinning those to DK pretty much in WoW.
All right, interesting.
And speaking of DK, let's start off with Final Fantasy's version of DK, the Dark Knight. Not Batman, but the new job here, new tank job, which is surprising considering DK in their last MMO, Final Fantasy XI, was a DPS class. So what do you think about this, Justino?
I think people wanted Dark Knight, so they had to kind of throw it in there, and they wanted to keep a tank, a healer, and a DPS. So I don't want to say they took it from WoW, but I think it's gonna work a lot like a Blood DK in
I've been
in WoW.
Yeah, I've been thinking that myself. People are not familiar. Blood DK is essentially using their absorbs and stuff like that, and
Heal
magic and
yourself,
heal
and yeah,
yourself to really generate threat and you know do
which would
massive
be
amounts of damage too.
it'll be nice and it'll be interesting to see how it works because with the whole heal yourself absorb aspect, because paladin doesn't really heal themselves for threat in this game, or enmity or hate or whatever you want to call it. Not like it did in 11. I mean, I remember tanking in 11 as a paladin, and you healed yourself to gain some threat and all that. But I don't. Then again, I don't really tank in 14. But from what little I did in the early stages of 2.0 and in 1.0, you had heals, but you didn't really use them.
Yeah, and I may actually give this class a whirl eventually and attempt tanking via DK, only because it sounds kind of interesting. Because unlike the other tanks, the DK is going to use MP instead of TP as its main resource. So it'll cast darkness debuffs and uh, that drapes. Here's directly from the XIV console games wiki quote here. Uh, the DK uses MP to cast a darkness buff that drapes the player with a darkness aura. The playstyle revolves around maintaining the aura, using it for defense to buff yourself or offense to damage your enemies. It's a new style of tanking that will utilize the piety statistic. So that
That's
seems pretty
interesting.
cool. Yeah, it's gonna I want to see how it's gonna be interesting to see how that works out. Also, if you've noticed, the DK does not have its signature scythe. They are going to be
Disappointing.
wielding. It is a little disappointing, I guess. That iconic scythe. They're going to be wielding a two-handed sword. So
Then again, in 11, some of the better weapons were two-handed swords
that's true.
for
That's
the
true.
DK. I mean, but it would be nice to see
What I'd like to
some
do is see them.
multi-weapon classes.
Yeah,
let him use the great sword, let him use the scythe, or it'd even be nice to see a warrior wield a great sword as opposed to just always having the great axe or dual wielding axes you used to see.
Yeah, well, for that to happen, they're going to have to scrap the armory system, which I think restricts the game a lot, in my opinion, because you're so tied down to that weapon. So hopefully that,
It seems like they're getting away from it though
yeah, hopefully this
with
is a
these three
sign
new
of
ones.
them. Yeah, hopefully this is a sign of them moving away from that. So we'll see. Moving on, we're going to have the new healer class. It is the Astral Ojen, which, based on the screenshots and what I saw, it looks like a dress-wearing corsair, at least to me, because they deal with cards and stuff like that, and it looks like a star globe of sorts is what they're calling it here as its main weapon. Like the DK, it's going to start you at level 30, will not require base class, and essentially the whole gimmick with Astral Ojen is it's going to employ celestial magics with a divining deck in order to heal and support the parties. Now, apparently, it's going to have two stances, um, which is called Tsukiyomi. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that. It translates to Moon Reader, and Hoshiyomi, which translates to Star Reader. I guess it's gonna depend on. I guess your stance is essentially going to depend on what kind of other healers you have in your raid. If you have a scholar, you might be using the barrier stance, or if you have if you have a white mage in your party, you're going to be using the barrier stance, and a healer stance if you have a scholar in your group, so on and so forth. They're
Are
going to
they
be alternate.
both healing stances? Then I'm guessing
Yeah, but I'm assuming one is probably more potent than the
more
other.
deeps, or I don't know. It'd be nice if they had like a one or the other. Like this is your healing stance, this is your DPS stance.
What I think this seems to be here at least is I guess want to be more damage reduction. If you're
Right,
playing
it'll
with a bunch of
be
white mages and stuff like that, and the other want to be more buffed up heals. You're playing with a scholar, which does heals
right,
on top of damage reduction and stuff like that
which
as
is
well.
kind of cool because that's like how it's working now. You never take two white mages or two scholars into a fight. You take one of each. So this is kind of two in one. If you have the white mage, you act as the scholar, and if you have a scholar, you act as the white mage. It seems.
Yeah, at least based on what we know so far. So that'd be pretty cool to see. This is actually one of the classes that actually piqued my interest because I play healer mainly for the most part. I'm definitely going to be checking this out eventually and see if I like it better than White Mage. So I'm going to definitely make sure I check that out and see if I enjoy it. We'll have to see. Alrighty, let's move on here to the new DPS class. Now,
The
is it
bard with a
machine?
gun.
The Bard of the Gun, Machinist, or whatever. How do you pronounce that, Justin?
I think it's machinist.
I think it's Machinist. I forget. Feel free to correct us. It's all good. We will gladly take the corrections. Pretty much the new DPS class is just it's a gunner, pretty much. But
This sounds like it's gonna act more like Corsair from 11.
yeah, or also Engineer from Guild Wars 2 if you play that as well.
I actually did play engineer in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, they got the little turrets that can attack enemies or debuff enemies or buff your allies and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. It just seems like another support style role in addition to to DPSing as well, similar to Bard. Hopefully they get their own. Well, I know they're implementing level 3 unique limit breaks for each job, so that's going to be cool. Just hopefully it's an actual DPS limit break, unlike what we currently have for Bard and
For
stuff like
bard,
that.
yeah, you have what the healer one. That sucks.
Yeah, so you can do all sorts of stuff in this job. It seems like your main job weapon is going to be the firearm, which is like
Which
the
you can add
cool.
attachments to, which is
Yeah,
cool.
that is very cool. It transform like when you use certain attachments, apparently you can transform your gun into something similar to a cannon. You can charge up an attack, and movement will cancel the attack and recharge it. So similar to Mega Man or something like that. You hold, press and hold the A button or whatever, and then release it.
Seems
For
like at least that mechanic wise reminds me of like WildStar, where you can charge your abilities,
yes,
to
yes,
one or two or three or four bars and cancel, so the more you hold, the more effective it is.
yeah. That seems like a really I'm definitely gonna check this out because I
This
need
is
a
gonna be the
DPS
one
class.
that this is gonna be the one I probably play the most.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm definitely intrigued by this. I mean, I have everything 50 now, but I always feel like I never really settled on a DPS class. I really enjoyed Black Mage 1.0, but with the changes they did in a Realm Reborn. I could never really get behind it.
You never run out of
So
MP as long as you
yeah, I mean,
transpose.
I dig it and everything, but I'm definitely looking for something else, and this will probably be a nice breath of fresh air. So here's hoping it's something cool and fun to play, and it sounds like it probably will be. Alrighty, then another selling point to the expansion is a new playable race, uh, which they dubbed the Aura or Aura.
Your
I
guess
don't
is as
know.
good as mine on that one.
Yeah, look, maybe we'll hear the actual pronunciation.
I'm just gonna call him the Aura.
Yeah, the Aura on a cutscene or something like that. Nothing special here actually. I messed around with the character creator on the benchmark. To me, they just really look like taller Elvon slash Hyurs
With
with
horns.
with horns and scales. Yeah, nothing really to see here. But they're from I guess the Far East, apparently. The continent of Othard, apparently,
The Far
and
East, is that where Tyrion Lannister is right now in Game of Thrones?
I believe so. Yes, he is across the Narrow Sea. However, these guys are we're probably going to see their homeland in a future expansion or something like that, where you'll see probably new jobs too, like the other Far East jobs like Ninja and the rumored Samurai. Um,
You think we're gonna get Sam, huh? Keep dreaming.
I don't like Samurai. I think it personally destroyed 11 a little bit. But
It was a glorified sub job.
yeah, I mean, I have some friends who are really into it and are looking forward to Samurai, but I'm hoping that if implemented, it'll be done right. Personally, I'm holding out hope for Blue Mage, Beastmaster, and Thief.
I
But a
don't
little
think
bit
you're
of
gonna get
Lord,
Thief. I don't think you're gonna get Thief.
yeah, not at least the way the Thief we had in 11, but we'll see. But like I said, just a new race, nothing really groundbreaking here. Just another humanoid class.
The chicks look good.
The chicks do look good, I'll give them that, but the men,
The men you're right. I mean, they look like they have the height of an elf with the face of a human with horns.
yeah. I'm
They
hope
look like the three taller races thrown into one, like the Rogadin, the human, and the elf, basically, with
Yeah,
horns.
pretty much. I'm hoping eventually we'll get some more monster-like races to be able to play. That'd be pretty cool, like the Banga or something, maybe even Mughals. I know that's a stretch, but
Banga
um,
would be cool to see a little more, get a little more tactics like in this.
yeah, some of the you know what? They have the equivalent of the Star Wars universe in terms of lore in the Ivalice, the Tactics universe there.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
I
I
love
mean,
all those tactics schemes. I think they should take some of that stuff. That seems like machinist or engineer. That's always been a job. So maybe they
hey,
are trying to draw.
Mustadio, so one of my favorite characters from the series there. So you can draw inspiration from that Square Enix. You got plenty of things to draw inspiration from. So let's see if they do anything with that eventually. Because let's
Either
be
way,
honest, a bunch of variations of humanoid classes gets kind of boring. It'd be nice to spice up the world a little bit.
it does. I mean, honestly, it's not going to make me change my elf, which I'm
Oh, of
actually
course.
a little tired of, to be honest. But there's nothing better in my opinion.
I'm a human for life until they start making the male Mikotes, a little bit more manly and not so ladyboyish. But we'll see. All right, next, moving on. Nothing really groundbreaking here, but they're raising the level cap from 50 to 60. Nothing else really to that. Just hoping that leveling becomes a little bit faster or a little bit more
Uh,
intuitive and not so bland.
I mean, you got to remember. I think we're being us being legacy members. We're going to finally experience what it was like to level, how you were meant to level in this game, if you will. Because remember, we came into this at 50 and had to go back and grind through the story.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I think going from 50 to 60, it's going to take you through the story, and you're going to have to do the side quests. So I think finally, we're going to have to. Not that you couldn't go back and do all the side quests on lower jobs, or if you didn't, we came in with 50 everything, so we haven't leveled since 2.0, essentially, except for the newer stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as bad as everyone is thinking.
Well, I'll be honest. I just don't want to fake grind all the way, or I just hope
You got to go
there's.
through that story.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Uh, Anyways, moving on from that, they're adding a new 8-player raid, Alexander. normal, and savage modes, which is probably going to be this expansion's version of
Coil.
Coil.
Yeah.
Not much info is released on this yet, but if you're familiar with the Final Fantasy lore, Alexander's that giant castle-looking thing that was
It's
one
a
of the bosses.
Machu.
Yeah, one of the bosses too. And was it Salvage
In 11?
in 11? I think it was.
It may have
I
been.
I think it's been
I
too
know it was
long.
there. I just don't. Yeah, it's been so long since I played 11 that I don't even remember. I just know it was a summon and all the other ones, more or less.
Yeah. Couple other things here right off the bat. It's going to take place in the Ishgard region. Finally, the gates of Ishgard are going to open up. We finally get to see that Juno-looking.
After how long? 3 years? 4 years?
Longer than that, man. 4 or 5 years, man. This, you got to remember, this game came out in like 2010, I believe, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
was there the day servers went live.
Yeah, so finally
Hard to
they're
believe it's
getting
been that long.
Yeah, no, time flies, right?
It's
It's
hard
amazing.
to believe we've stuck around this long.
Yeah, seriously. This story is going to revolve around the Dragon Song War and the Worm King versus Thordan and his Knights 12. Now, when I read that, I immediately thought Knights of the Round summon, maybe something like that. So, not much more info on that. Like I said, the details are pretty slim right now. A lot of that's probably going to be revealed as the expansion gets closer and as you play the game and go through the content. There are going to be 7 Worm Kings to fight, 7 sons of Midgard Sormer. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that, that are central to the story. The dragons are Nizbek, Bahamut, Tiamat, and more. Bahamut's story about how he was summoned and captured will also be revealed, apparently. The Dragon Song War is apparently the bloody 1,000-year conflict between Ishgard and Dravania. Now, spoiler alert, for those of you who are still playing and have not completed the latest scenario, the Dravanians are the people you're fighting there in that last, what's that fight called? The Steps of Faith or something like that, I believe it
Steps of
is.
Faith, yeah, Steps of Faith or Steps of Fate, one of those.
Yeah, one of those. You're
It
pretty
is
much
your,
tossed into that conflict.
yes, like you were in the beginning of 2.0 with the judges and all that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like we said, the 4th city-state, the holy city of Ishgard, finally.
Finally!
The zone's going to include Ishgard Foundation and Ishgard the Pillars. Probably a lower and top level. Nothing yet confirmed. They're going to be apparently new massive locations, which is going to be great. The maps right now seem very condensed, so hopefully they expand that. There are going to be 8 new dungeons initially and raids. I don't know if that's a combination of the two. Not yet specified, but
I would imagine 8 dungeons, and then you're gonna get your Crystal Tower type raids.
yeah, a little entry level raid to get you geared up for the Alexander. So that'd be cool. New areas are going to include the Quarthus Highlands, the Dravanian Forelands, the Dravanian Hinterlands, the Churning Mists, the Sea of Clouds, the Floating Continent, which I saw in the little benchmark video and little trailer they had, looks really awesome. Reminded me a lot of a couple of the cutscenes in Zelda Skyward Sword, and the Chocobo Forest, which sounds
Chocobo
interesting.
Forest, yay!
Yeah, I don't know what that's going to be all about. If that's going to be a place where you can hunt and capture your own chocobos, or if it's just a zone where chocobos happen to roam or something like that.
So I'm going to go ahead and assume one of these areas is going to be a lower level area, because if these new jobs are starting off at 30, I'm going to assume some of these zones here are for 30 plus, and they're going to start you off at 30, which would be nice, because it means you don't have to go back and do old zones as your new job.
I really hope so, bro. Seriously.
Which, again, will make it nice for the leveling experience, because, taking your brand new level 30 machinist or whatever into these new areas, you're going to have quests to do. You're not going to have to just fake grind through, which I think will be really nice.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. And hopefully the quests give a nice amount of XP, so you can actually quest grind or dungeon grind. You can all I'm asking for is alternatives, decent alternatives.
So well, because you're right. I mean, aside from questing, you've really got fate grinding. You could grind dungeons, but
yeah, and fate grinding is very hit or miss too sometimes. So let's hope that they're listening, and I know there's been feedback by the player base and everything. So here's hoping. Anyways, this game, the expansion, is also going to be adding new primals. Probably more than two, but right now the initial two are Bismarck and Ravana. I've only been familiar with Bismarck from
Like I
previous Final
say, yeah,
Fantasies.
Bismarck is a rehashed one, but I don't know anything about Ravana. That
Yeah,
might be
Ravana.
a 14 one-off here.
Yeah, you Final Fantasy fans, correct us there. You people that are more in the know with the lore and stuff like that in the previous games. Let us know what Ravana comes to mind. More than likely a mythological, inspired from a mythological,
Which most of them are. I
character.
mean, I've got a
Yeah,
picture open here, and this guy's got like you know 8 arms and 4 swords.
yeah. The
Kind of
name is
reminds me of General
very
Grievous from
Hindu.
Star Wars.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely does. General Kenobi. But we're also going to get two new Beastmen races, as confirmed right now. There could be more eventually as the expansion goes on. And they are the Vanu Vanu, which I believe are the bird people, if I'm not
the
mistaken, that you see.
the fat birds.
The Fat Yagudos, is that what I was calling them?
Yes, that's exactly it. That's awesome.
And then they worship Bismarck. By the way, each of the Beastmen in this game, for you not familiar with the series, worship a certain primal. The primals are essentially what, if you've played Final Fantasy before, the summons that you've had in the past, like Shiva, Ifrit, Ramu, Fenrir, whatever, what have you. So they each worship them as a god, and they normally tied to an element or something like that. So the Vanu Vanu worship Bismarck, which is a giant floating flying whale of sorts, and the Nath. Pretty sure I'm
Who I'm going
pronouncing
to
that
call them?
correctly.
I'm going to call them the Gnats, probably.
The Nats, yeah. What do they look like here? They look like,
They've got some shinobi-looking hats here and some funky-ass legs, so they actually kind
yeah,
of look more like the Yagudo than the Vanu Vanu. You just
they
can't really
look,
see their face there.
yeah, kind of insect-like. They kind of look like Kabutops a little bit
Yes, that's it. You're right, they do.
from Pokemon, and they worship Ravana. So yeah, that's pretty much all the info we have on them. Obviously, we're going to be getting new gear and recipes and everything. No details on that yet, but if you look at the live letters, he's always showing, constant updates
Pictures,
and
yeah.
pictures and stuff like that. Like they had the pictures for the new, um, class specific, quote unquote AF. You can go back and check those out. Uh, the crafting classes are going to get a specialist system. Not much information on that yet.
Zero information on that.
Yeah, a collectible system and scripts,
I'm
which,
hoping all of this means we're not going to need to have every damn craft
well, yeah, same here.
matched
I
to
hope
be
you can.
good.
Yeah, well, this also reminds me a little bit too of if you level alchemy in WoW, you can choose either a transmutation expert or a potions expert or a flask expert. I'm hoping
Uh,
it's something
I didn't
along
think of
those
that, right?
lines.
But it would be.
That's
I
what.
think they're gonna need to tweak, like HQ rates. They're gonna need to play with that. Like, there's no reason that if I want to make on my armor HQ 4-star gear from my dragoon to spirit bind or whatever, that I need to have abilities from a maxed out weaver, abilities from a maxed out alchemist, abilities from a maxed out goldsmith. It's just absurd.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I hope they're planning something different with that as well, because yeah, at this point, if you don't have everything 50, you can't really craft much.
Forget
I
it.
mean, that's not a
Yeah,
problem for most of us, but the thing is,
it's annoying.
it can be annoying. Yeah, I dig the cross class abilities and stuff like that, but at some point, it just becomes a clusterfuck, and
It's too much. Like I don't. I wanna. I mean, it's like we were talking about, or like I was saying before we started recording here. I want to be really good at one thing as opposed to being halfway decent at everything. My main is Dragoon, so I want to be able to have my maxed out miner support my maxed out armor to support my maxed out Dragoon. I don't want to have to level a Weaver or level a Goldsmith just to have an ability so that I can make gear for my classes.
yeah, man, I totally agree with you. I mean, eventually, I'm probably gonna level everything, but it would be nice to not have to worry
Yeah,
about that. You
but
know?
if I don't have to, I don't want to. I don't,
No, you're right. You're right.
I've I've got other stuff to do with my life. I want to level what I want to level, and I want to be done with it. I don't like that they force you to level things that you really don't want to.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And to add to that, the gathering classes are going to get something similar as well. I'm assuming to the specialist system, which they're calling
Yeah,
regional folklore, favor system, delivery system, and they're getting scripts as well, whatever that is, apparently. Um, so
I really don't know what to think about those. I mean,
Your guess is as good as mine at this point.
at least you don't have to level all your gatherers to 50 to be good at one thing.
Yeah, that's pretty true. What else are they adding here? Moving on, free company
Airships.
workshops, including the construction of airships. Yes, that's gonna be pretty cool. And houses by free companies. So
So we're gonna have more houses, you think,
more
or
houses. Well, hopefully more plots. Right now it seems pretty limited, and hopefully it's gonna be more affordable too. Like I'm not complaining. I mean, I can make guild easily,
yeah,
but
I think I
you
spent
know,
6 total on my little small plot in the mist, which I like very much. I'd like to be able to put more stuff in it. I'm kind of strapped at the moment.
yeah, I feel you. But I'm really looking forward to the airships. That's something
Definitely,
that
that's
should be
going to be
cool.
interesting.
And maybe some airship battles in the future. I don't know. This is just me speculating, throwing stuff out there.
A little mini game.
If you're listening, yeah, something similar to what they had in the Old Republic. So that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Those were cool.
Yeah, they were fun. I mean, even though they were like very linear, they were still pretty enjoyable. I don't know. I really liked them.
It was a way to get XP.
Yeah. And also, finally, Final Fantasy getting with the times, flying mounts.
Yeah, but you know what the biggest travesty with flying mounts is? Is the fact that the black chocobo can fly. Chocobos can't fly. Everybody knows this.
I thought the gold Chocobo could fly back in 7. I could be
None of the
wrong.
chocobos could ever fly. This is
Really?
horse shit. No
No, the
chocobos
gold
fly.
Chocobo could walk over everything, right?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
what
the
it
one.
was?
Yeah, it could do
Yeah.
everything. You know, the blue one could walk on water, the green one could go over mountains, but the gold one could do it all.
Yeah, okay, there we go. However, I mean, hey, he's doing what he wants. I don't
That just looks
mind.
stupid. If anyone's seen the benchmark, you
Yeah,
know
I
what I'm talking
saw
about, or go on YouTube and look up the benchmark. But it just looks absurd. You got these guys flying around, these badass looking dragons, and then you got or griffins or whatever, and then you got the guy over there flying on his little black chocobo, flapping his little wings, just trying to keep up.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks okay, but
The
a little
dragon
silly
mount
at the
looks
same
cool, whatever
time.
that is. They got some decent looking mounts, even though they
Yeah,
stole
they do.
griffins.
They do. Yeah, the fucking Stormwind Griffin is
The
there.
alliance griffins, yeah.
Yeah. But apparently going to be 7 different ones to start out. Eventually, I'm sure they're going to add more. But yeah, I'm glad they're
Single
getting with the
rider
times
airship.
there. Single rider airship, yep. I'm just glad they're getting with the times. They're adding things that are pretty much standards in the MMO world now. So, like I said, nothing really too groundbreaking or anything like that, but
Enough to
still
keep us
stuff you could
interested.
enough to keep you interested, and enough to sink your teeth in too, and keep you busy until future patches and stuff like that. And the great thing about this regime, so to speak, is that they've added jobs and classes through patches. So you might be getting some more things down the line through big patches, new class or job.
Not knowing the story or anything, but doesn't it seem like this would be a nice time to add Blue Mage? Just from seeing the pictures of where you're going and what you're doing, and from what we know about what's being introduced, it almost seems like Blue Mage would be like a part of this.
I wish. I mean, that's the dream. So we'll
And I
find out
think
down the line. But I listen. You could totally do Blue Mage on this. I mean, they're talking about well, you have to get hit by certain abilities. No, I think if you're just in the vicinity,
I don't even know
and
if I like the way that works though.
well,
I mean,
honestly, if the enemy just uses the ability and you're there in that area, you have to be in the party. Obviously, that's killing it. You should totally learn it. You're seeing him use the move. Does that make sense?
Uh, I think being in the
Uh,
party is not asking too much. I mean, if you're just, oh look, I saw the guy do the move, and you get it. You're
let's say
basically
this.
the enemy skill materia from Final Fantasy VII.
Put it this way. You're in the initial telegraph and you move out of it. That gives you credit for it. You don't have to get hit by
If
it
you get
because
hit,
the game has a lot of one shot mechanics. You know what I'm trying to say? So let's you got to be kind of
we could argue
lenient
about
when it
this
comes
all
to that.
night, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't. I would like Beastmaster. I'd like a straight up solo class. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can
not
kind
that
of straight up
everything isn't
solo.
kind of solo here, but it would be nice to have more pet classes. We don't really have a pet class. You have Summoner, and Summoner is hella weak.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, not weak in
if
the
played
sense that
well,
its DPS is weak. Summoner, I think, is one of the top DPS game classes. It just, I don't like the way it plays. I don't like what it does. I don't like anything about it, really.
yeah, I feel you. It'd be nice to see Beastmaster thrown in there somehow. I know they could do it,
I'd like a
and
wyvern for my dragoon. Is that
wouldn't
asking
that
too
be
much?
nice? Apparently it is, sir. Well, you might get it this X pack because this X pack looks like it's going to be
It's
centered.
all dragons.
It's all around Derp Goons, so
You see
prepare
that dragoon
yourselves.
AF? It looks like the guy from FF6.
What's his name? Cecil?
Uh, is that his name, or is it which one? Is Kane the Dark Knight? I don't remember. I only played
I'm
six once.
I'm sure they'll correct us. Anyways, that's pretty much it. That's been released essentially. As things come out and as we play the X packs, we'll keep you guys informed. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for checking out the page. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like and share whatever you see on our page. So, I'm Jr.
But I'm Justin.
and I've been the Geek Gods. GG, bros. Peace.